Play, and I'll adopt you." Millionaire mocked the little girl, but her music left him speechless. "Those were the exact words," the crowd whispered as the taller, arrogantly well-dressed millionaire leaned over the piano and smirked at the trembling little girl sitting behind it. The room was filled with polished marble floors, sparkling chandeliers, and people who believed money could buy anything, even dignity. But no one expected what was about to happen. Not even him. Her name was Leela, a thin 9-year-old girl with soft brown curls and a second-hand dress 2 sizes too big. She stood out among the polished shoes and designer gowns of the charity gala. She didn't belong there, at least that's what the millionaire, Charles Davenport, loudly declared. He had donated the largest amount that night, and with a glass of champagne in hand, he approached the stage where Lila nervously warmed up. "So, you're the girl they say has talent," he said, his voice dripping with sarcasm. Lila nodded timidly. Charles laughed. "Fine. Play something. Impress me. Who knows? If you're good enough, maybe I'll adopt you." The room gasped. The words were a cruel joke, but Charles didn't care. Humiliating people made him feel powerful. Lila swallowed hard. She didn't want to perform. She didn't want to be a spectacle. But she needed that moment. She needed to be seen. After all, she had been living in the orphanage ever since her mother passed away, and music was the only connection she still had to her. As Leela positioned her hands above the piano keys, she whispered to herself, "Mom, stay with me." The room fell silent, and then she played. At first, her fingers trembled, and a few notes wavered. People exchanged awkward glances, and Charles chuckled loudly, leaning back in his golden chair. But then something extraordinary happened. Leela closed her eyes, and it was as if her soul awakened. The melody transformed. Her hands began moving with impossible emotion, gentle yet fierce, fragile yet powerful. Every note carried a story. Nights of fear, moments of joy, memories of her mother singing softly to her. The audience leaned forward, drawn in like moths to a flame. A woman in the front row wiped away tears. A man recording with his phone whispered, almost to himself, "This is unreal." Unreal. Even if viewers are hearing this story now, they'd probably want to stick around until the end. Lila continued to play, the music swelling with a beauty so raw it felt like the room itself was breathing. And for the first time in years, Charles Davenport's smirk faded. His jaw tightened. His eyes narrowed. He leaned forward ever so slightly, because something about this song, something in the way the melody soared, felt disturbingly familiar. The final note arrived like the closing of a chapter, long and trembling with emotion. When the sound faded, the room was dead silent. Lila lowered her hands and looked up. Charles Davenport was pale, completely speechless. People waited for him to make another arrogant remark, but he couldn't. His lips moved, but no sound came out. The little girl he mocked had just shattered his pride, his certainty, his carefully polished ego. And then she said something that froze him. "Sir," she began softly, "this song, my mom taught it to me. She wrote it when she was 16. A tremor ran through Charles's entire body. What was her name?" he asked, voice cracking. Her name was Melody Hart. Charles staggered backward. Gasps erupted, because everyone in that elite room knew the rumor before becoming a millionaire. Charles had fallen deeply in love as a teenager. He talked about the girl who used to sing on the street corner, the girl he wanted to marry, the girl who disappeared after summer. He said he never found her again, and after that heartbreak, he became the cold, hardened man he was. Melody, Melody, heart. She had been his first love. His hands trembled. Your mother was she was. Leela nodded gently. She told me about a boy with kind eyes who used to wait for her after school. She said she hoped he grew up happy. Charles sank into a chair, overwhelmed by the truth. The girl he mocked, the girl he humiliated, the girl he used to laugh at from the stage, was his daughter. The room erupted in whispers. A few people began recording. Some stepped closer. The atmosphere turned electric. Charles stood slowly, his voice faint. I didn't know. I never knew she had a child. Lila clutched the pendant hanging from her neck, the only thing her mother left her. She said some truths would reveal themselves when the time was right. A tear rolled down Charles's cheek, his first in decades. I mocked you, he whispered, horrified. I mocked my own daughter. The crowd watched as he approached her, kneeling beside the piano. Lila, if you'll allow me, I'd like to know you, not because you played beautifully tonight, but because I should have been there your entire life. Lila looked into his eyes. She saw regret, pain, longing, and for the first time since her mother's funeral, she felt a strange warmth. I'd like that, she said softly. The applause came like thunder, echoing through the gala hall, through every person watching, through every heart that understood that sometimes life's cruelest twists lead to its most beautiful miracles. Lila stood, and Charles hugged her gently, careful not to overwhelm her. It wasn't a perfect ending. It wasn't a magic fix. But it was a beginning. And beginnings, especially after pain, are the most precious moments of all. As they walked off the stage together, a whisper floated through the entrance, almost like a gentle reminder. Some stories just deserve to be shared. And speaking of sharing, if this story moved you, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts, and of course, click the next video that's appearing on your screen right now. Ready for the next emotional story.